Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Friday evening.
And we are back again to our live streams.
It's a rainy day, so perfect for a living room workout. Today we've got a very small need for equipment. All you need is a dumbbell or a kettlebell. We're going to do a nice strength part and some breathing afterwards. So all you need is a dumbbell, a kettlebell, and I think then we're ready to go. So the question is, what time is it?
It's bodybuilding time.
Good. Before we go into the bodybuilding, into the pumping stuff, we're going to do a very slow warm-up. Only 3 movements, some air squats, some shoulder taps, and a inchworm to downward facing dog. We're going to do it all together. We're going to start with 10 slow motion air squats. The feet go under the shoulder. We're going to have the chest pointing forward, the toes are slightly pointing out, and then we're going to sit down into an air squat and come back up. We're not looking for depth. We just want to get the legs moving. So you can just follow along, follow our speed. Shouldn't get you out of breath, shouldn't be hard. Slow movement allows you to pay attention to your feet. Is your heel on the floor? Is the pressure shifting on the toes? Slow movement always allows to listen to your body. From here, we're going to go into 10 shoulder taps. What you're going to do, you're going to come down into a plank, hopefully a pretty gymnastics plank, where we have the hands right underneath the shoulders, the feet together. We're squeezing our glutes, we're squeezing our core. And from here, we're going to slowly release one hand from the floor and slowly touch the shoulders. We're going to do 10 very slow shoulder taps. The slower you can do them, the better it is. Try to minimize any movement in the hip and the body and focus on a very slow and controlled movement. Okay, and then come back up. Then we're going to do 2 inchworm to downward facing dog. We're going to walk out into a plank. So the hands go down, the legs are straight. We're going to walk all the way out into a plank. And from here, we're going to push the head through the shoulders to hip up to the ceiling. Come back into the plank and walk back out. Are we doing the up dog as well?
I think so.
Oh, we can add in the up dog as well. So from here, all together, we're going to reach down with our hands. We're going to walk out slow into our plank. First, find a good plank position, then the hip goes to the ceiling, the head goes through the shoulders, push the floor away, come back into the plank, drop the hip to the floor, the head to the ceiling, and walk back. We're going to do one more like this. Everything is slow. Out into the plank, into the downward facing dog, into the upward facing dog, back into the plank, and then start walking. Okay, that's 1 round done, and then we'll do 2 more like this. Back to the air squats, feet go under the shoulders, sit down, and come back up. We're going to do the 2nd round still slow. The 3rd round, we're going to start speeding up a bit. Last one. And then back to the shoulder taps. First, find a good plank position. Make sure your fingers are active, grabbing the floor, and then in slow motion, we're bringing the hand to the shoulder. Minimize the movement in the body. And come back up. 2 slow inchworm. Hands go down. Walking out into a full plank. Into the downward facing dog. Push the floor away, active in the shoulders. Come back into the plank. Slowly drop down. Head goes to the ceiling. Come back into your plank. And then start walking. Make sure each of those is separate movements. Keep your transitions clean. Down in the plank, into the downward facing dog, back into the plank, into the upward facing dog, back into the plank, and start walking. Good. Third round, we're only going to speed up the air squats. The shoulder taps and the inchworm is going to stay slow. So we're going to do 10 air squats fast now. Meaning we're not going to stop at the top, and we're simply going to move through those 10 reps to get the heart rate up a little bit. I'm not counting. Then back to the shoulder taps, very slow and controlled. So we're going to walk out into a plank. First find a good plank position and then start moving the hands slow. Good. And then 2 more times. The inchworm to down dog to up dog. Walking all the way out. Hip goes up, head goes through. Hip goes to the floor. Look up. And come back out. And then one last time. And that should be it. Now, you might already see it on the screen. For the strength part, it's all upper body. We have a Renegade Roll and a floor press. We're going to go over different variation depending on the equipment that you have. Let's say you have 2 dumbbells. If you have 2 dumbbells at home, the Renegade Row and the floor press is the most straightforward. For the Renegade Row, you're going to come into a plank position with your hands on the dumbbells. So we're going to come into that same plank position. And now you want to think like a shoulder tap. We're going to stay in that plank position, but we're going to use one arm to pull the dumbbell towards the chest and back down. We're going to alternate if you have 2 dumbbells. What you want to think is to pull that elbow behind your ribs. If that elbow comes behind, we're good. What we don't want to see is a big rotation in the upper body. We don't want to rotate the whole body just to move the dumbbell. If that is happening, it's a bit too heavy. Thank you. Another thing you want to pay attention to is how you return the dumbbell to the floor. Return the dumbbell slow. If you're returning the dumbbell by dropping it, it's going to hurt the floor, your hands and the dumbbell. So make sure everything is slow and controlled. If you have only 1 dumbbell, you can do the same thing simply with 1 dumbbell. You're going to do 8 to 10 repetitions on the left side and on the right. Maybe you can show us quickly. If you only have 1 dumbbell at home, simply come into a plank and then come here. Because you're not alternating, tendency to lean to the side is a bit bigger. Make sure you stay in a straight line. Thank you. If you don't have dumbbells and you maybe just have a kettlebell, the Renegade Row doesn't really work because the kettlebell is too high. If that's the case, you can do a bend over row. The rowing stays the same. It's slow and controlled, but instead of having ourselves into a plank position, we're going to start with the kettlebell between the feet. We're going to pick it up with a straight back, pull our shoulders back, and from here the same row, meaning the elbow goes behind the body and back down. Same thing goes, we don't want to rotate, we don't want to rip it, Keep the upper back stiff, keep the legs stiff, and pull slow. Those are your pulling variations. If you don't have any weight, maybe use a suspension trainer to do some body rows or another pulling variation. Repetitions are defined by the weight. Look for a minimum of 8 repetitions, maybe a maximum of 12, 15, depending on how heavy the weight is. We're going to combine that afterwards with a floor press. Again, a few variations. If you have 2 dumbbells, we're going to come sit down between the dumbbells, bring the back to the floor. So we're going to lie down, bring the heels close to the butt. Elbows are on the floor, and now we're going to press up and touch the dumbbells at the top. We're just going to briefly touch them and bring them back down. There are different variations depending on how close you bring your elbows. You get a little bit more triceps or a little bit more chest. The one thing we want to prevent is having our elbows too high up. Anything underneath here is acceptable. Anything above is not acceptable. You can do the floor press with 1 dumbbell as well, or you can do the floor press with a kettlebell as well. I'm going to quickly show the kettlebell variation. What you want to make sure if you're having a kettlebell is that you're working with a straight wrist. If you're holding a kettlebell, your wrist tends to bend. Try to keep your wrist straight. So we're going to come down, pick up the kettlebell, maybe even with 2 hands. The wrist is straight, the feet are close to the butt, and then from here we're going to press straight up, bring the elbow to the floor, and press straight up. You'll notice with a kettlebell, the tendency is to keep the elbow very close to stabilize the weight. Those are your variations for today. We're going to do 3 rounds of 3 minutes. Do we have a remote?
Yes.
No, we don't. Where is the remote? That's like a real class on the little, on the little chair over there. Okay, left. There we go.
This is a real class.
This is a real class, you're right.
I hope people are watching and they're going to do it with us.
So, we're going to... Did you start?
3 rounds of 3 minutes. No.
So we're going to do 3 rounds of 3 minutes.
Are you joining?
Yes, I am. I'm
Yes.
going to use the kettlebell. You can use the dumbbells.
Perfect.
Try to get a good minute of movement in for each, a minute of movement for each movement. So if the weight is very light and you can do 8 to 12 reps very fast, simply move a bit slower. We're looking for a nice upper body pump, biceps, triceps, chest and lats. Should be a good one. 9 minutes of work coming up. Here we go.
10 seconds.
So I'm going to go with the kettlebell with the bent over row. Kat is going to go with the dumbbells for the Renegade Row. 8 to 12 reps. In each variation, make sure you keep your core engaged and minimize rotation. That's fun already in the first set. Ooh, that 20 is heavy.
Those 15 are heavy. No, they're not heavy.
Okay, for each variation, move slow and choose the reps depending on the weight. In the floor press, make sure your elbow doesn't slam into the floor. Control the movement all the way. Lock the elbow at the top and control the way down.
One minute of rest.
Oh, I'm not done yet.
For me.
If the 1 arm movement, it takes a bit longer.
going to be better. Thank you. Easy work.
Yeah. Yeah, let's switch sides here. And I'm closer to the clock. Take your dumbbells. And then we'll go into round number 2 already. Woo. Left a nice mark on the spot for you there on the floor. And then back again. Second round, you might already feel fatigue coming in. Make sure you move slow, go over the basics. Back is stiff, core is engaged, elbow is pulling behind the body.
This is getting heavier. Come on.
It's definitely not getting easier. It's definitely working.
Okay, only one more round.
So if you now come to the point where you say, third round, last round, already I don't really feel my arms, simply add more reps. It's the last round, so if you want to go and do a bit more work, now is the time. You don't have to do anything after this. So now we can go for a bigger set if you feel like it.
It's heavy.
Whew.
I think the burpees after this are going to feel so light.
Oh, I think it's going to be a lot of shoulders.
And the thrusters.
I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of shoulders happening now.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right and it's going to feel easy. Whew.
I think the WOD is easier than the strength part. Well, let's see.
I'm not sure.
Depending how heavy you're going.
Yes, very much.
I still haven't decided.
Well, we're going to do a practice round. We're going to do a test round and you can do some reps as demo. So you can test the weight a little bit. Very good. Now, not very fancy, but very efficient. Some pulling, some pushing. With the Renegade Row, you also got your core work in. So you've done core work and pretty much all upper body stuff in this range of motion. Very simple and effective. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to get slightly out of breath. Workout today a little bit different than usual. We're going to do an every minute on the second minute workout for 10 minutes. Every 2 minutes, you're going to do 10 thruster and 10 burpee over the object that you're doing your thrusters with. Again, depends on which equipment you have. Let's show a few variations. If you're working with one or two light dumbbells, you're going to do the dumbbell thruster with 2 dumbbells. Let's show them from the start. The dumbbells start on the floor. We have to pick them up. Some people prefer to pick up the dumbbells outside the feet with the feet very narrow. If you have great flexibility, this is an option because you can keep your back flat. If this looks more like a Jefferson curl, can you show me? Well, if this looks more like a terrible round back, then please move your feet outside of the dumbbells and squat a little bit more. This allows you to come into a better position. Now we can kind of swing or clean the kettlebells up onto the shoulders. Feet go into a squat position. We're going to sit down into a deep squat, stand up and press overhead. That's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you have one dumbbell, same thing goes. You can do it either with one arm. So we're simply going to clean the dumbbell on the shoulder, do them with one arm. Can you turn around for a second to the camera? Or if you have one heavy dumbbell, you can also do it with 2 arms. Simply grab it in the goblet position, sit down, and then pressing overhead might be a bit more tricky due to mobility, so just press as far as you can. After your 10 thrusters, put the dumbbell down and we're going to do 10 burpees over the dumbbell. Meaning you're going to step next to the dumbbell, do a full burpee or a half burpee, jump up, jump over the dumbbell and do it again. When you jump over the dumbbell, it counts as a rep. You don't need to clap behind the head. All you have to do is get over the dumbbell. Those are your variations with 2 dumbbells or 1 dumbbell. If you're having a kettlebell, we're going to do a 1-arm thruster, or if you have 2 light kettlebells, do the same thing. With the front rack for the kettlebell, it's slightly different. With the dumbbell, we have the weight resting on the shoulder. With the kettlebell, we have the weight resting on the elbow. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean it, similar fashion. We're going to have the weight resting just on the elbow, thumb is close to the chest. We're going to sit down and then stand up and drive. For all thrusters, make sure it's not a squat and then a strict press. Use your legs to jump the weight up, slow on the way down, explosive on the way up. For 10 thrusters and then the same 10 burpees over the kettlebell. I think we should do a practice round.
Yes.
To get the heart rate up and to see how long it takes.
10 and 10.
If we move very slow. We're going to set the clock just to see how long it takes if you do 10 and 10 very slow. So we're not going to move fast. We just want to see what happens if we move slow, relaxed, how long that takes.
I will decide after the test round how much weight I'm going to use.
Good, very relaxed, easy. Test round. That's half a minute for the thrusters. If you don't put the weight down. much in sync.
Yes!
Whew. Okay.
That's doable.
That is doable. Yes. Whew. So without sprinting on the burpees, it still gets you out of breath quite a lot, right?
Maybe we should start doing more workouts. What do you think?
We should do more burpees. I agree. Yes. So, what we just did was one round of 10 and 10. Took us about 1:30. In the workout, I'm really out of breath. In the workout, we're going to do an EMOM every minute on the minute, but we're going to do it every minute on the second minute. So on the screen you see an EM2M. It's every minute on the second minute. 5 rounds every 2 minutes. You're going to do 10 thrusters, 10 burpees. First 2 rounds, I guess it's going to feel okay. And I think round 3 and 4, your breathing will not want to recover anymore. That is okay. That's kind of the point. If in round 3, 4 you think, this still wasn't really hard, then simply do more reps as you go along. I'm still out of breath. And
we have to do, in total, it's just 50 thrusters and 50 burpees.
Yes. So that's a little bit more than a 21-15-9 rep scheme, which you would then usually try to finish in about 6-7 minutes. So today in 10 minutes. There is forced rest because we're waiting for the beep every 2 minutes. It's kind of pacing practice to get you used to working on the clock, working consistently and not sprinting in the beginning and moving slow in the end. Try to move a good minute 10, a minute 20 every round. Try to relax and keep your pace very consistent. So it's a matter of conditioning and pacing. And with that, enough procrastination.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. On the screen, you're going to see 5 rounds of 2 minutes. That is a 10-minute workout every 2 minutes. 10 thrusters, 10 burpees, coming up in 10 seconds. There is no winning or losing in this workout. It's just a matter of moving. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
And Stephanie just came.
You want to join us?
Maybe Stephanie wants to join us. Come on, Stephanie.
It's just 50 seconds rest.
Come on. It's just 10 thrusters, 10 burpees. Oh yeah.
First round was harder.
And I took the 15s after all.
The heavy thruster.
Yeah.
I notice a big difference left and right. My left arm is much weaker in the thrusters. So.
I always tell people to go heavier, so I guess I have to do the same.
Need 20 seconds more rest. Try to get your breathing down as much as possible. We've got 4 more rounds to go, just like this. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. Keep your thrusters pretty. Use your legs to get the weight overhead.
think we're doing well.
Well, the first 2 rounds are the easy ones.
Oh,
I think it's gonna be okay. I think this one is doable.
burpees are easy, thrusters are heavy.
Try to get your breathing down. Focus on your breathing again. Make the most out of the rest. Round number 3, 10 seconds. Try to keep your pace consistent, don't allow yourself to drop off now. Round 3 is usually where people start slowing down. Keep your pace. Oh, we're speeding up. We're getting faster.
And synchro. Just 2 more rounds. Whew.
Use the time. Try to come down. Lift as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Round number 4 in 5. In 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
We should test it here live.
I think so. I think this is a nice one.
I think so.
The minute rest.
Yeah. It forces you to keep a nice speed.
Yeah, you can't slow down. You have no excuse.
And
So every time you start, you better move.
Yeah.
One more time, one last round. Same thing, keep it pretty. In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
tougher than it seems.
Yes, that's a good 50 seconds of continuous fast movement.
Yeah.
Really gets the heart rate up, and with the rest, getting the heart rate back down. Really fun combination, I like this. 30 seconds on the clock if you haven't finished your 5th round. Still 20 seconds to go to finish your first set. In 3, 2, 1, and time. That's 10 minutes. I wonder how long we could have kept this going.
Yeah.
Because every time you do the minute rest, it feels like
you recover.
You're fresh again.
Guys,
So,
if you did this workout, also let us know how it was, and if you did full burpees, half burpees, and how much weight.
what's interesting for you is having a look at the clock every time you finish a round to see if your pace is increasing, decreasing, etc., and how much it takes you to recover from something like this. Now, I think we are done work-wise.
Yeah.
We are going to stretch for 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
And then we are done. I'll leave the stretching to you.
Okay.
Yes?
Are you going to follow?
No.
You...
I'm done.
Okay.
Now, just 1 sec.
Yeah.
Let me get rid of this.
Okay, guys, let's go on our knees and then try to sit on your heels just to stretch those quads, and then grab your arm and pull it towards your chest to stretch the shoulder as well. And try to bring down your breathing as well. Now you can switch the other arm. Again, try to have completely straight arm. Pull it towards your chest and keep sitting backwards exactly on your heels. You can also start elevating a little bit the knees just to get a little bit more flexing. Now we're going to go into the child pose, so just bring the hands in front of you, touching the floor, and the head exactly through the shoulders, and then you can go look up towards the ceiling, arch your back, and bring the hands towards your floor, towards your body as close as possible. And once again, back to the child pose. And now we're going to lie on the floor completely. Try to bring the right arm exactly underneath the chest, the left arm completely straight. Bring the left knee also on the side, knee stays in contact with the floor. And now we're going to go towards the opposite side, so try to open up your arm while maintaining the knee on the ground. Open up as much as possible, like you're trying to touch the ground with your left hand. And slowly go again back where you were. Now bring the right arm in front of you, the left arm exactly underneath the chest, completely straight, and the right knee touching the floor. And slowly we're going to open up as much as possible on the side, one knee on the floor. try to reach the ground. Back again where you were. And we're going to stand up, bring the legs wide, wider than the shoulders, and try to go towards the floor, either with the hands touching the floor or the elbows if possible, while maintaining your knees locked. Now lean on the right side, try to touch the right leg, the toes or the shins, and bring the chest as close to your leg as possible. Again, we're completely locked knees. And now go towards the left side. Go again in the middle and try to bring again the feet together, so completely together, straight legs, and slowly we're going to come up again. And I think that was it for today.
I think we're done. We're closing as always with the triple clap in 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your evening. See you soon.